The minute Alli took her last breath was the minute I took my last breath as Pam Shainhouse. Who am I going to be now?
My guest today is Pamela Shainhouse. She's a mother, entrepreneur, advocate, and pioneer. But it's also a story about a woman who spent a lifetime turning her adversity into meaning. As a little girl, Pamela was diagnosed with a genetic bone disorder that brought surgeries, chronic pain, and the experiences and bullying of growing up feeling different. Years later, life tested her again in the most devastating way.
I get a phone call, and I remember dropping the phone.
Her daughter, Alli, was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 19. And for the next 7 years, Pamela became far more than her mother. Pamela became her caregiver, her protector, her advocate, and witness to a young woman who refused to let illness define her.
She was very similar to me, but stronger. She would take no bullshit from anybody. I took it.
When Alli died at 26, Pamela was left living the title of her memoir, Daughter Dies, Mother Lives On. And that is really the question at the heart of this conversation. When life takes away the person you love most, how do you go on? And what do you do with the love that remains?
She always said to me, she says, "Mommy, I am Alli, I am not cancer." She taught all of us to live.
And what we'll learn is Pamela did not disappear into grief. She kept building. She raised millions for causes that mattered, helped create Alli's journey, broke ground in inclusive fashion, and turned her lived experiences into a mission around accessibility, dignity, and inclusion.
Hi, it's Tony Chapman. Thank you for listening to Chatter That Matters, presented by RBC. If you can, please subscribe to the podcast. And ratings and reviews, well, they're always welcome and they're always appreciated.
Pamela, welcome to Chatter That Matters.
It is my pleasure and privilege.
I guess the first question that after reading your book and listening to some of the other interviews, do you see your life in chapters, or is there sort of one long thread shaping who you are and who you become?
Do you know, nobody's ever asked me that, and I think that that is the most brilliant question I have ever been asked. I believe that when you have gone through what I've gone through, each issue is an episode, but it works into the way you are now. I would never be doing what I'm doing now if my daughter had not passed away.
Before we get into Alli, though, you also had some tough cards dealt to you at an early age. Bone disorder, surgeries, pain, bullying. How much do you think that shaped your resilience and resolve?
The sad part about the bullying, the disability, and I also thought I was fat. I also thought that nobody was going to love me. So I stayed in a marriage that was a horrific marriage. All of it has affected every part of me. I would be very different if I didn't have that disease. I never spoke about my disease until this past 5 years. I kept it quiet because when you see me, I look like anybody else on one hand. On the other hand, when I'm walking with a walker, I look like a person with a disability.
What happened? What changed for you to realize that instead of sort of hoping people didn't see it, you realized that by them seeing it, experiencing it, it was part of their ability to grow?
Hiding things about yourself, to me, was not honest. And I was brought up to be an incredibly honest, charitable, generous woman. Once I opened myself up, I felt genuine. I felt as if I was completely Pam Shainhouse, completely. Before I had a veil.
Was there somebody or something that allowed you to take that veil off?
It was my daughter. I was never positive about myself. My daughter, Alli, started it off. She put me in front of a mirror, literally. She held my shoulders and she shook me and she said, "I don't know what the hell you think, but nobody else thinks this way about you. So stop it."
Before we get into her illness, tell me a little bit more about Alli.
Alli was my miracle baby. My ex-husband's family, they were all boys. And I have 2 other boys, Jordan and Shane. She was very similar to me, but stronger. She would take no bullshit from anybody. I took it. I was brought up strong, she was brought up stronger. And because our marriage was so bad, and when I finally had the strength to kick him out of the house, she was by my side. She showed me how to love myself. Alli was in Ryerson in theater production, and she literally would go from her class to Princess Margaret to have radiation and come back. So she did a project, and she was the leader of the project, and she couldn't get in touch with this woman who was just ghosting her all the time. So what Alli does, and you can see with this personality, what she did was she found out where her dorm was. She went to the dorm. She knocked on the door, but she put her hand on the little peephole. The girl opened up the door. Alli barged in. She says, I've been asking you for this information. So the girl looks at her and she says, I've been so sick. And Alli goes, you can't use that with me. I have cancer. Alli was that type of person. She just wouldn't let people get away with crap.
So at age 19, she gets diagnosed with cancer. And take us back to how she dealt with it and how you dealt with it.
It was horrifying. We were in Florida. We always went to Florida at Christmas. And Alli comes to me and she's wearing a bathing suit. And she says, Mom, I have this lump here and it's been bothering me. I said, how long has it been bothering you? She says, about a year. I went, excuse me? So I said to her, the minute that we land back home, I'm picking you up and we're going to the doctor. And he looks at it and he says, it could be this, it could be that. And they took x-rays and they looked at everything. And then I get a phone call. And I remember dropping the phone. She had the worst stage that you can get. She had Hodgkin's lymphoma, which people said was the good cancer. I don't know of any, the word cancer and good. It went in one ear and it walked out the other. That was a statement from my dad. He used to say to me, Pammy, you have two ears. If you don't want to hear it, you let it go in one, walk right out the other. The worst part was when Alli was diagnosed, my mother came back from Florida with flesh-eating disease. My father had Alzheimer's, so they came back home. And Alli was very close to my parents. My mother was rushed in. My father, they brought into the hospital. My mother was doing better. And so the doctor said to me, I want you to take Alli to Florida. If not, she's going to sit in this hospital, and I don't want her in a hospital. I booked the travel the night before. We got onto an airplane. We get up there. She's happy. We're in the apartment. My phone rings. My father died.
Your father, there was no sign of...
No sign. He aspirated. Just aspirated. There was absolutely no sign. They were sending him home. We turned around. That night, 5:00 in the morning, the phone rings. It was my sister telling me to wake my son up to drive me back to the hospital. So the only words that I could think of was, my mother died, but they weren't going to tell me. What happened was she went into cardiac arrest, but they brought her back. She was married to my father for 63 years, but wasn't at his funeral. So we buried my father. I sat Shiva, and Alli started her chemo.
Pamela, what I found so extraordinary about your book, how much learning everyone had in the way Alli managed her disease.
She didn't stop. She got her 4-year degree. She was not going to let cancer affect her. She always said to me, she says, Mommy, I am Alli, I am not cancer. She lived her life with every breath that she could possibly take. She taught all of us to live. And the sad part is that her brothers were not here. They were in Europe. She told them to go, adamant that they were not going to change their lives for her. She met this remarkable guy. They had their date, and Alli said to them, I just want to tell you that I have cancer. And he looked at her and he said, I'm bald, so let's move on.
And your mom through all of this?
My mother didn't want to live anymore. They brought her back from the hospital and she decided to stop eating. And I said to Alli, she's going to die. So she gets in the car and she drives down. She gets into her bed. She gets in the bed and she stomps on the bed like this and goes, Bubby, I'm talking to you. I cannot go through this cancer without you. You cannot let me down. If you die, I will never forgive you. She started to eat. My mother lived 5 years later.
7 years, Alli lives with cancer before you lose her. Talk to me about what you learned from her during those 7 years, because I know that you did so much more than just being a mom.
Like, it was more than a mother and daughter. It was a sister. She was my Jewish mother at times. Like, I mean, we were tied together. We were zipped together. I don't think we would have had that at all. We don't appreciate our children like we have to, like we should be. Our days go by, we're working, we come back, we make dinner, we do whatever, and then we go to sleep and we do it the same way the next day. I lost so much because that's the way I did things until Alli really taught me that life is so precious, Tony. You're living your life, you get a phone call, and your daughter has cancer, and the rest is another life.
And what do you think she got from you?
Alli on June 1st, 2006, launched Alli's Journey at an event. And the words that she said to me, she said to the audience when she spoke about me, she said, "My mother taught me that I could live through this, that I was one of the most precious parts of her life." And she knew that I was there 24 hours, 7 days a week. Didn't matter. We moved into a family apartment where we were together. She was on one floor, I was on another. She knew that I was there. I remember when we knew that she was going down the hill, and we were at the cottage. And we brought her up, and then we took her back by ambulance to Princess Margaret. And I was lying on the bed with her, and I was telling her, how much I adored her. And she looks at me, she says, "Mom, I know. And I adore you more than you can even imagine."
When we return, Pamela and I talk more about the meaning of life and how that meaning changes when you lose someone you love, and where she found the courage and conviction to keep going.
Hi, this is Tony Chapman. I want to talk to you about what RBC Wealth Management is doing to support healthy aging. Old age is becoming old news. We're living longer, and planning for our future means we need to integrate health, wellness, and our financial matters. RBC Wealth Management is partnering with leading experts and organizations like the MIT Age Lab, the National Institute on Aging, the Women's Brain Health Initiative, Elder Caring, and the Women's Age Lab. Why? To provide you with comprehensive resources covering every aspect of you aging well. This includes support for your physical and mental health, caregiving, maintaining financial stability, and preparing for later life health issues, ensuring you can age safely and comfortably, and ideally in your own home. With RBC Wealth Management, you create a personalized plan that adapts as your needs change, giving you peace of mind and security. Visit rbcwealthmanagement.com and learn more about healthy aging and start planning for your future. Healthy aging? Well, that matters to you, to me, and to RBC.
When somebody is that sick, she had a very rare form. We really thought we had it. We thought with a stem cell that we had it. She went through a full year. We thought with the bone marrow. The match was only 80%. Believe it or not, there was nobody in our family that could match her. 2 very rare cells that just kept on going. And the doctor said it didn't matter that she had it for a year. It was these cells.
My guest today is Pamela Shainhouse, who spent a lifetime turning adversity into meaning and wrote this memoir, Daughter Dies and Mother Lives On. When you lose someone like that in your life, that's your soulmate. You talk about in the book the distinction between moving on and moving forward. How did you even move at all?
I didn't move for years. I decided that I was not going to make any decisions for the first 18 months. The first decision that I made was I bought a house. I bought a little house and I renovated it. That was my first main decision. The minute Alli took her last breath was the minute I took my last breath as Pam Shainhouse from before. Who am I going to be now? Because it affects everything about you. It affects the way you breathe. It affects the way you talk to people. It affects the way people talk to you. I had people around me for 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden, everybody was gone. And I'm talking everybody was gone, except for maybe 1 or 2 friends.
And how about your sons?
My sons went back to Europe. They stayed for a month and they had to go back. They were in school.
How do they feel on the periphery of this? It's almost one cell operating as Alli and Pamela. Do you think there's ever animosity?
I remember somebody asked my one son, and he said, how long haven't you had your mother around? It was a psychiatrist that asked that. And I was livid with that question. About 15 years. I'm sure they gave of themselves so I could give to Alli. We have never had a conversation of what they felt. We were a very tight-knit group, especially when my ex-husband was out the door, and the four of us. And they were very, very close to Alli. So I don't think that they held anything against me. I spent close to $2 million keeping Alli alive over those years. I put mortgages on cottages. I sold houses. I did everything that I could possibly do. You talk about socialized medicine. We went to Florida, cost me close to $300,000-$400,000. And this treatment almost killed her, but it got it to her wedding. We did everything in stages. What can we do now to get her here? Get her through her studies, all of that. That's what the focus was from the doctor. We had the most remarkable doctor. His name was Armin Keating, the head of blood medicine at Princess Margaret. Front row at her wedding, we asked what a good time was for her funeral so that he would be at that. I'll never forget seeing his face when he walked into palliative care. He never thought as I said, never thought we were going to lose her.
Afterwards, you somehow, you talked about depression and then you bought a house, there was a turning point. And then you've really become a pioneer in fundraising, keeping Alli's journey alive, fashion, accessibility. Is this your way of refusing to die?
I really like the Pamela that is here now. I like her a lot. Proud of who I am. I don't think I was ever proud, even with all of these accomplishments. There's one thing that I truly don't understand that I've been trying to work on is how difficult it is to get people to understand the critical importance of disabilities and accessibility. I'm working with accessibility in retail. I've started a whole new global accreditation program on event management, on accessible events. I don't want to hound people and I don't want to make people feel bad. But the truth is 13 trillion people have disabilities. A quarter of the Canadian population have a disability, visible or visible. When it comes to an event, if you don't make an event safe, it's not safe for people with disabilities or without. It's not safe for anybody. I was thinking about this a couple days ago. I don't know how I got into this world. I really don't. I know how I got into the fashion world. I'm from a fashion family. Alli had gained an extraordinary amount of weight and loved fashion and couldn't find a goddamn thing and wouldn't put what she called polyester on her body. So yay, we're going to start a clothing brand when you're better. She never got better, but she put all the elements into play, and that's what I did 2 years later. We were the only ones to ever show at Toronto Fashion Week as a size-diverse brand. We were the first ever sustainable brand in Canada. A disabled customer is the most loyal customer you can ever get. If people know that they can go into your boutique and they can shop safely and there's a proper changing room and everything like this, and there's a washroom and everything, they are the most loyal. They will come back to you all the time. I find now, because I'm so confident in who I am as a woman with a disability, I'm talking for so many others that are not speaking for themselves.
How much of Alli's now in you that wasn't there before? Do you think this is your superpower now? Is it somehow or other?
Absolutely. I know she's up there. I know she's introducing me to people. I know that she's doing all of that. I wish she'd move a little faster. Tell you the truth, 100%. We were such a team.
When you penned your book, Daughter Dies, Mother Lives On, did you write it originally? Is it just therapy? Giving yourself permission to move on?
Yeah, I think so. It took me years, 16 years to write that book. I wrote this book for me, absolutely. But I wrote this book because I know that people need to figure out a way to move on and to figure out a way to have the courage to respect what their kids and whoever they have buried. And you read my book, so you read the chapter where I don't use the word loss if I can avoid it. Because I know where my daughter is. She's in the cemetery. I haven't lost her. She's part of me. I haven't lost her. There's this big picture of her that's right beside my bed. So I say good morning to her and I say good night to her every single day. And I know she's smiling down. I know that. And I know she's really proud of me.
Does she ever come to you in your dreams?
Oh, all the time.
I always wrap up with my 3 things. And I think the first thing is one of the most extraordinary phrases. I am Alli, I'm not cancer. That is such an important lesson in life because we define ourselves very often by our circumstances. Our circumstances are who we are, but I think Alli had an important lesson. Our circumstances aren't who we are. We are who we are. And how we deal with those circumstances is really what we're called to do. The second thing is I took my last breath with her, and I thought that was such a powerful statement. From then on, every breath you took was the 2 of you breathing together. Because the way I read what happened afterwards was Alli roared through you, much the way she went and spooned her grandmother and got her to eat again. I think she gave you those 18 months to grieve, built your stage with your new home, and she's just looking down so proud at you for all the things that you've done and refusing to be defeated. I guess the last thing that I think is just so beautiful is that how she only cared about other people. Everybody, from the time she shook your shoulders and made you look in the mirror to being with your grandmother and getting to eat again, she just focused on everybody around her, and even her cancer provided such incredible lessons in life. I hope her brothers had an opportunity to gain what you've gained from her, because I think Alli's purpose on life wasn't to be here longer than 27 years. It was to be here to give so many other people's years so much more meaning.
I've had such an amazing conversation with you, Tony.
Once again, a special thanks to RBC for supporting Chatter That Matters. It's Tony Chapman. Thanks for listening, and let's chat soon.